Hey everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today's soap is one of my Patreon design soaps. So basically at the start of every month, I give my patrons a sort of idea or theme on which to make a suggestion to me to make a soap. Now for this month, I asked them to give me a suggestion for a powdered ingredient that I could add into soap. I put all the suggestions into my little soapy jug and I drew them out. And the one that I drew out came from Gem D Creations, and I'll leave a link to her business down below in the description box. And she asked if I could use Rhassoul Clay in a soap. Now I've been meaning to make some facial soaps for quite a while, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to use that Rhassoul Clay and make some facial soaps. So let's go and see how I make it. We are ready to start this one. I think whenever I make a recipe that's not my usual one, it always throws me and I always worry I've not got everything, but I'm pretty sure I've got it all set up. I've got my oils here. It is a palm-free recipe and that's why the oils are looking a little bit different. I also have my lye water solution here, and this time I haven't put any tussar silk in it because I'm trying to keep this particular recipe as a vegan one, as I have had a few requests for some vegan facial soaps. So I have just poured that lye water solution in here. If you watched the behind the scenes video, you would have seen how I actually prepared that lye water, as it's a different calculation I used because I'm also using some oat milk, and I showed in the behind the scenes video how I made that oat milk. So I'm going to give this just a bit of a mix here, a quick blend, and then in my jar here I have the oat milk that we made, and I am going to add that into my oils. Alright, so I knew I was missing something. I haven't got a jug to split my colours out with. So let's add this oat milk in here, because it is quite literally just the oat and water. I shouldn't have any of the usual problems that you get when you add in commercially bought oat milk, which has a lot of extra additives. And even though I always buy the unsweetened one, it does say on the packet that there are flavorings, and I'm pretty sure there are sweeteners in there anyway, and it always just creates a little bit more speed with the batter. And I think the xanthan gum that's usually in store-bought doesn't help either. So hopefully, because that is just water and the sort of oat in there, this will behave really nicely. So let's get that mixed in. I am absolutely loving the colour that this has gone, and it smells really nice with that oat milk in here as well. It is a little bit thicker than my usual batter, but that could also be my oil choice in here too. Let me get my stick blender all cleaned out so we don't waste any of that. And the next thing I am going to add in here is I have got some chamomile extract, so I'm going to pop that in now that we are at trace here. Give that a good stir. And then what I'm going to do is split this out, because I've got two different clays that I want to add into this facial bar here. So we're going to split about half of that off. That looks pretty good. There's probably a little bit more than half in my bowl. This is actually heating up, so that would be something to do with that oat in there. Possibly also to do with the extract. That's the first time I've actually ever used an extract in a soap, but I thought I might give it a go on this one, seeing as I have a lot of firsts going on. So we've got that split up. Now the first thing I'm going to add to my, let's go to this jug. Oh no, we're going to add it into the big one now. I have got some dusky rose, or some Australian pink clay. Now I had soaked this in some water. The clays tend to draw up a lot of the liquids out of soap, so when you actually add them in, you do end up with some sort of acceleration issues. So it is always best to actually soak your clays in some water, just to make sure that they blend in well, they don't clump, and we don't have too many other issues. Let me get all this mess cleaned up down here. Oh dear. All right, I'm going to finish getting that stirred in. And then into the other container is the clay that I was requested to actually use in a soap. And this is Rhassoul Clay. And I did say that if this one was drawn out, we would be doing a facial soap. So that really got my butt into gear to actually making these. I've been planning these facial soaps for so long, been going through all the additives, all the different clays and everything I could add, and just so many other things popped up along the way. So by asking my patrons what they would like to see in the soaps has actually really got my butt into gear to actually making some of the things I have been meaning to make for ages. So we'll get that one all mixed in, and that is all I'm actually going to do for the colouring of this soap as well. We're not going to add any micas. I'm also not going to add any of the other natural colorants in, because sometimes they can, if you get little bits of the colorant left behind, they do get a little bit scratchy. And given that this is for a sensitive or a dry skin, I don't want anything scratchy in the end soap. So we've got that mixed in. Now I'm going to add in my essential oils, and because of all that clay, these oils should stick nicely in the soap. And we've got a little bit of a blend of some sweet orange, we've got some lavender and some ylang ylang in there. So I'm going to mix those in, and hopefully that kind of loosens my batter up a little bit here. Smelling really nice here, not too overpowering, because you never want it too overpowering on the face, but just enough that you get that sort of hint of what's in here. What I'm now going to do is kind of do a in the pot plip plop, because that's kind of how thick this has gone. So we're just going to pour at those sort of angles there. We'll finish pouring that all in. I've got my container nicely scraped out, so we've got no waste. All I'm going to do is give that a very quick mix like that, just to get a bit of a swirl. And then the molds that I am using today, I'm going for these today. I was going to go and get myself a PVC pipe, a slightly bigger one than what I've got for my moon. However, on the same day that I decided I was going to go and get the PVC piping, it came out on one of the sort of hotspot lists. The Bunnings that I was going to go to came out on it, and I thought, oh, I don't really want to go there, not now. And also all of our local Bunnings have said that you kind of need to or should be wearing a mask when you go into their stores. Now, I don't have a problem with wearing a mask in terms of, you know, it is for everyone's best, but I do feel very uncomfortable in them, in that I start to panic that I can't breathe, which is part of my asthma. I just don't feel like I'm getting enough air into my lungs. So until I absolutely have to wear a mask, until government says it is a legal requirement, I do try and avoid going to shops where they have actually asked you to wear them. So, and to cut a rather long story short, instead of going to get the PVC molds, I decided that I would use these molds instead. I really wanted round facial bars, because they're just easier to handle when you are trying to wash your face. And I just thought these were a really nice size. So just give them a bit of a knock down, get them all in there, keep pouring this out. It has got a little bit thick for pouring, but we'll make it work. So these might not be the prettiest looking at the moment, but I think once we get them unmolded, we'll have some really nice patterns on the inside. It is a little bit messy getting them into these molds. As soon as I can, I will be going to buy myself some PVC tubes to do these with, or PVC pipes. But for now, what I'm going to do is leave these ones set up overnight, and then we're going to come back tomorrow and I'll unmold them and take a look. Alright, I am now ready to unmold these out. I have actually already unmolded two because I wanted to have a check of them. When I first unmolded them, they smelled very strongly of the clay, and the smell of the essential oil had kind of disappeared. But now that they've been sitting there for a few hours, the clay has kind of died back down, so you don't get such a strong clay smell, and those essential oils have started to really pop on out. So you can see these are so easy to actually unmold. I did put a little bit of sodium lactate in here as well, just to really help, and I absolutely love the color this has come up. Really pleased with them. I actually think that is the perfect shape and size for use on the face. I'm kind of glad I haven't used the PVC mold or the PVC pipe, because I think having these nice rounded edges are just what a facial soap actually needs. I'm pretty sure I got these molds from off of Amazon Australia, so if I can find the link, I will leave it down below in the description box for anyone who is interested in these particular molds. I use these for all sorts, including things like my conditioner bars. They're just such a nice shape. They sit nicely in the hand, and I've never had a problem getting items out of them. So really pleased with how these ones have come up. These were the first couple that I poured where we still had it quite a fluid sort of batter, and then as we got further down the back here, they did get a little bit muddied. So let's get these ones out and see. Well, they're actually not too bad on the underneath. They're not muddied at all. I still have that really pretty sort of swirl between the pink clay and the Rhassoul Clay, so you get a nice even mix of both of them there. Really pleased with these. They're going to head off over onto the cure rack for 4 weeks, and they will be coming out, I think, in the second week of October. And these will be available, and I will also be working on 2 other facial soaps, one for oily skin and one for a combination skin. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I have made my facial soaps. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one and stay safe, and I will see you then. Bye.